Good evening. Thank you for joining class. My name is Aisha Price, and we are talking about Microsoft PowerPoint today. Um, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of the command features in Microsoft PowerPoint so that way you have an understanding of the software. Okay, so everyone can see this. Yes, I see that you can see it. So this is just a sample template, honestly, that I utilized. So, one good thing they were talking about is that Microsoft PowerPoint has so many good templates. So, let me go here to File so you can see, right? So, I'm here at the home page. Okay, I'm gonna make sure you guys can see this. So, right. Okay, good. You can see it. All right. So, I am here at the home page for Microsoft PowerPoint, and I wanted to see if there are any other themes or things that I thought that I wanted to use. Okay. So, anytime you have a presentation, yes, you can either choose the blank presentation or you can go and pick one of the sample presentations here. And most of them are for PowerPoint, they're designed by the type of presentation. So some of them are training presentations. There's different types of presentations that you can pick. Right, so there's training ones. There's some that are public speaking. There's financing. There's so many different presentations, right, that you can pick, and different designs. And that's what I really like about PowerPoint. Okay, so I went ahead. So here you can see suggested presentations that are here. Okay. And they have, they're talking about different things and they're formatted in different ways. So if you want to do a project kickoff, if you want to talk about a business, if you want to just do a tech presentation, or I know Audrey mentioned that she did presentations for students. And so you have so many different options to pick from. Okay. Another thing is here's the different themes. They have education. So if you're educating someone, you have different designs based on education or based on the information you want to share. Just click the back button to go back. They have different charts and diagrams. So if you're presenting something that if you say you need to do an org chart, I use these for org charts a lot. Project milestones, I love this one. You can use it for different projects that you're working on. There's ones for family tree. There's so many different things. If you're having a wedding, if you're hosting an event, if you need to do some statistics and things of that nature, you can do a chart for that as well. Different diagrams that are here that you can pick. There's project analysis. There's one for chemistry. Um, triple helix, which is really cool. So there's so many different options in PowerPoint. Okay. And then if you need something for business, they have different presentations for business. Okay. That's what I really like about PowerPoint. Okay. And then diagrams, we talked about that already. There's another one I wanted to show you. Oh, infographics. Right. So you can input any graphics that you want in there. So they're already there. Okay. That's a good thing about it. So the design I picked was this one is because there was a presentation that I was looking at here. Okay. So mine is already here. I can go to the home screen and you can see all of your different presentations that are already here. Okay. And that's something that is helpful as well. So I went ahead, clicked on it, click create. Okay. Then when you see the create button and it opens up for you, all you really need to do, showing you what I want. Okay. So all you really need to do is go to that different design that you want and you can pick it. Okay. Another cool option is what they were talking about is you can see that it has some of the same menus that we talked about before. So you have your home menu. Your home menu is really your cut and paste. You can reuse slides. You can click a new slide. And you saw in the tutorial that when you click on a new slide, it will show you here up there for a new slide. It will show you different slides that are available that you can pick. Okay. I like that option as well. Okay. And then you can reuse a slide if you want. If you want to reuse the slide, you can. If you click on the design menu, there's different design slides that you can utilize. When you click on the design menu, you see that there's all these different designs that pop up. So that is a cool feature as well. And then if you want to do the transition of how you want your slides to appear, you can do that as well. So you can fade them out, right? You can have it white from one side to the other. You can split it. So there's different effects that you can pick um, in the features. Okay. Also, if you're interested, yes. Did you have a question?
I do. As a teacher, um, how do you feel about people using those transitions?
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I agree. Even as a teacher and also as a business person, um, I think that you have to be careful, right? You're saying that's a good point. Is when you're doing any type of animation and things of that nature, you can choose to like have it slide in and reveal or cut or do random bars. I don't think you should use too many. That's the rule we always talk about is, sometimes you want to time. For me, I use them to when I'm timing myself. If you ever noticed here, you guys can see this where I'm at right here. You can choose to do a sound or a no sound for it to come in. So if you say, for example, I did a reveal, you see there's a sound. You can choose it to have a sound or a no sound. You also can choose it to do a time limit, right? So you see here, I'm clicking on here duration. You guys can see that. And then you can apply it to the whole slide or you can apply it to certain slides. And so if you have a presentation and you know that you have a certain amount of time that you have to complete that presentation, then you want to make sure that you're timing your durations correctly. That happens a lot for me because as an educator, as a business owner, time is money and people don't want to sit there and look through a lot of animation. But I do think it's fun to do it, but I just don't think you should do too many of them. It's a good question. Um, Yes. And then animations. So here's the animation page. And I know Teresa was saying something like about that too. Animation, you can apply that as well. And you have to be careful, doing too much animation. All right. I agree with that completely. Slideshow. Your slideshow will give you an option to show the slides. Like, say, for example, you're presenting to someone, and we're going to go more in detail, but if you're presenting to someone, you can choose to present the slide from the beginning, from the current slide, or you can tell it which slide to go to. You can also re-record what you want to say, okay, on the slide as well. And then you can also rehearse the timings of your slides. And that really helps, especially when you have a presentation, you have time limits. Another thing is you can use the presenter view. And this is the presenter view right here. So the presenter view, as you can see on the left-hand side, it shows me the different slides on the left. Okay. And you need them on the left for yourself, but they're not going to show when you actually click slideshow. So when you click the slideshow, and then you're going to show it from whether beginning to or from the current slide. Say, for example, you're actually in a presentation and you're talking to someone, and you, instead of going back to, flipping back and forth, you can just tell it to go from the current slide. I do like that. Okay. Here's the record button, and you can try using the record button, and it can show you how to use the record button. So you can tell it to record from the beginning. You can tell it to record from a certain slide. It monitors your audio, so it can tell you, if you click record, it's going to save what you record, and you're going to be able to speak over your slides. That's what I really, really like. Okay. And then reviewing, the review button, of course, it would check your spelling. You can do any language, you can translate things, you can also compare, you can show comments and things of that nature. View. So this is what the video was talking about. View is the normal view. Outline is when you get an actual outline of what you're saying. Okay. And so if you want to like edit any of the words in here, you can do that. All right. Slide sorter would show you all the different slides that you want. Notes page. A lot of people like the notes page because you can type notes in here for speaking purposes and no one will see those. Okay. And then there's also a handout master that you can use as well. Okay. Um, and then when you go back to these, sometimes you have to click escape or exit out of them so you can get back to it. Cause that's the other thing. It's like, it doesn't, so you see how you have the orientation and things of that nature. So you just have to be careful when you're going back and different things. Okay. And you can draw it. So here's the handout master, and it's just showing you, you know, different ways you can present it. And if you want to close it, you can just click close. All right. Another thing is when you're in the home menu, it's pretty much the same. Oh, I want to change my view. So I want to go back to my normal view. Okay. Right. So view is where you go to your view, different view modes. And when I do presentations, I normally stay in my normal view and then I edit accordingly. Um, and I just do that because it's just easier for me, right? If I want to add a new slide, I can do that. And there's a big option of all the different slides that pop up here when you click on new slide. And I can choose to put any slide that I want in here, okay, from the menu. Okay, so all I did was click it from that menu. Okay. And then when I do that, if I were to click in here, it says click to add title. So you can add your title. And then you see here, it says click to add content. So a lot of times you can put in like the different charts and graphs, and you can actually build them in here as well. Okay. You can put different videos in here, stock images. If you choose an image, a stock image, you can pick an image from any of these clip arts and you can put them inside. So you probably can't see all of that I'm doing, but because sometimes when you're in these, it's hard for you guys to see everything, but you can see exactly kind of what I'm doing. The other thing that I love about PowerPoint is, you know, they mention in the video, if you want to duplicate a slide or reuse a slide, you see all I did was click the right button in here. And if you click into the button, it will show you how to reuse a slide if you want to reuse a slide. So I do like that too. I can choose to just right click it and I could either hide a slide or I could add a section or I could change the layout in here. Another thing they were talking about is if you want to move a slide, you can just move it around, which I really like. If you don't want a certain slide, you can delete it. Okay, if you want. So I always say that when you're doing presentations, you know, you want to have a header page, right? It's just simple, right? You always want to have a header page. You always want to have your title and you always want to say who you are so that people know. Okay? Have your date in there. So think of your audience. When you're doing PowerPoint, it's really about your audience. And you want to think of your fonts, you know, and your lettering. So if you want to change any of the lettering in here, all you need to do is go to copy what you want to change. And if you want to make it smaller, you can hit the little arrow down to make it smaller here in the toolbar menu. So you still have the same tools that you had in Microsoft Word and Excel, but you have more tools here. Okay. So that's what I do love about it. If, say, for example, I wanted to change the font, I could click on the font I want to change by just hitting the font here, up here. You guys can see this right here. And it says pick a new font from your text. So you can do that as well. So this presentation was something that I picked from the template. And I thought it was a really cool presentation. And it's talking about communication. So you always want to make sure that you have, your intro. If you want to add your bullets in here, I like it when you can just utilize a pre-existing presentation because it's already formatted. But if you don't want that, you can change it however you want. Okay. You can add or delete any of these fonts. You can add or delete any of these bullets. You can change these bullets. You see here, I'm clicking on bullets right here up at the top. I'm just going to point to them so you guys can see and hover over it. So you can see my mouse going over it because I know you can't always see everything I'm doing. So if you see my mouse moving, that's what I'm showing you. Okay, so you can change any bullets you want to change. You can get rid of anything. You can use a current layout. You can go here, change any fonts. You can change any of the coloring you want. You can highlight it just how you've done in Microsoft Word or Excel. You can change how you want it to appear, if you want it to be centered. So you guys see what I'm doing here. So centering it, right aligning, justifying it. You can do any of that in here. Okay. So that's one good thing that you can do with it. There's so many great tools with this. And they talk to you about changing the design of it. So just click the design menu and I can change the way it looks, change the colors, anything in that sort of nature too. Right. You want to be careful, when you're going back and changing, like they did say in the video, with the designs, because, and then you see how this design menu popped up. Did you guys see that? Yeah, so you can see that. So when I clicked on design, you see how the design menu came up and it gives you like samples of designs that you can pick and you can change them to what you want. So if I wanted to change the way this agenda shows up, if I wanted to pick a different one, I can pick a different one. You see that? You see I changed it. Okay. So there's a design. You can change the formatting of the background. So there's all these different ones. It gives you an ideas. Another thing I love, it does this where you can change how a slide appears, the way it looks. You can change like the formatting of it. So you can do arrows. You can do different boxes. I like to use this one as well when I do my agendas. Say you have like something that's going into explaining something, you're explaining something to someone else and you want to have different arrows. There's also one here that has like a different cycle, tells you, what you're going to do first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So there's so many really nice tools in PowerPoint. Okay. Selecting visual aids. So you see here on the right hand side, you can see that how it popped up with different designs for me. And I can choose to pick one of these different designs if I want. Right. So I love that too, that it gives you suggestions when you're in the designer side of the tabs. And you just click design. And when you click design, it's going to pop, the design menu is going to pop up. Okay. And so see how it gives you different, I'm just clicking on different slides to see what the design menu comes up. Oh, I like this one. So this one came up and I said, oh, I want to pick that. Or this one comes up. And so it defines what you're trying to say, defines it a little bit more clear when you have different fonts and different charts and graphs. And as adults, I don't know. So I'm in adult education, right? Adult education is different than K through 12. So the way we process information as adults are different. We as adults, we need more visual clues. Okay. We need things to be highlighted. These are just rules about how we communicate as adults that we've learned throughout my career. And we go to a lot of training and we talk about how you need to do presentations. And adults they don't like to see a lot. When you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, you really don't want to see a lot on one page. And if you do have a lot, it's always good to have it in some type of format like this, like a chart or a graph, making bold. If something needs to be bolded, bold it. If it needs to be highlighted, highlight it. You can just highlight it with your mouse, and then you can change it to whatever you need to change it. As adults, we need to see things in color. I know we grew up thinking that we don't, but unfortunately, when you're teaching adults and when you are working and doing presentations, you can see the design tab up here. Okay, or you can change your background to different colors. You can do a solid background, a gradient background, or a pattern fill. Okay. So there's a lot of different tools that you can use. I keep saying that, but I'm just going to keep saying it because it makes it easier for you. Okay. Another thing is bullets. It's always important to have to bullet your information or to chart it out so that people can see it clearly. Having different boxes, different colors helps, different shapes, all of these different things. And so that's why I like that this gives you different options, right, to utilize. Okay. So those are some of the basics. And what you're going to do is I would like for you, we're going to come back. When we come back from break, we're going to go to break. When we come back from break, I want everyone to go and find a template that they would like to use. And we're going to create, say if you need to do a presentation, you can do that. But what I want you to do is create a presentation about, a vacation. Remember, at the beginning of class, we talked about a trip that we went to. So I would like you to do a PowerPoint about a vacation. If you're due for a vacation, this will be good for you to create one, or a place that you've been to before. And so all you're going to do is you're going to go to new. You don't use a blank presentation. I suggest going to these different themes, right? And picking a theme that will work best for you or a template that works best for you. Okay. And click on presentations, click on themes, and you can do that. So say, for example, I'm going to give you the option. Say, for example, you may want to do your PowerPoint presentation on, a trip that you're going to take, or you may want to do your presentation or an event that you're about to have. So I'm going to give you two different options. So that way, some people say, well, maybe I'm not going on a trip. And I don't want you to be upset and say, oh, I'm not going on a trip. I don't want to do it. I want you to do a presentation on something that's going to be interesting to you. So maybe you have an event coming up. Maybe you have to plan something. Maybe you're having a family reunion. Maybe you have a project that you have to do. So I want everyone to do that. We get back from break, and then we're all going to take time sharing and just going over, different steps on how to access the presentations and making sure that you are clear with how to utilize them. Okay. So let's do the break. Let's come back at 8, and then everyone's going to pick a template and they're going to do a presentation. They're going to start working on it on your own, and we're going to all be together. So that way, if you have any questions, you can just ask me any questions at that time, and you can start building your presentation. Okay. Practice doing some of the fonting, practice changing some things up, your backgrounds, the design features, and just look at how it functions. Copy and pasting, moving some slides around, inserting new slides, And so we could just do it together so you're not doing too much by yourself. Is that fair? Does that work? Okay. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good break. We'll be back in a few minutes. See you soon.